Gonna walk you through it again. Take it away, guys.
Thank you very much, Scott. And yes, we are ready here at Splyce and Fnatic, playing on Train, best of one game, and it would be cataclysmic upset if Splyce somehow made this work. And I mean, even if they got past 10 rounds, as the analysts have been saying, even that would be shocking to say the least.
Yes.
I mean, shocking as well. We're seeing Moses getting complimented on the desk.
I know. Look at him. Did you see his face just light up? You know, he didn't want to believe it at first.
I think he could get a lot of compliments, though, because that hat has sort of a Brookback Mountain sort of feel to it. So I think if he's in the right part of town, definitely could work out for him.
Didn't they find that kind of town, first night that they were here?
I was there as well. Gay Karaoke Bar was fantastic. Professor Chaos going to be taking down Dennis, and we're off to a good start from Splyce. Now, let's see if they could follow through here. They've got the man lead, and maybe a little bit of confidence to Fnatic, trying to see if they could speed up, putting two people out of Pop Dog here, and almost isolating Arya there. That looked like he was going to get caught off guard. What's happening? Crims, Flusher, and JW each finding a kill within the same second, and now it's down to Jason and Abe trying to see if they can somehow salvage what looked like a great round.
It was all yeah, and then Crims just annihilates Abe, and it's down to the last man here. Jason, he's hoping that he's going to be able to get lucky, that they're going to make the mistake of planting for him, but now that the information is out there, Flush is just going to annihilate him, and it's going to be the pistol round going Fnatic's way. But you're right, I was actually getting, I think the hopes are getting up for Splyce as well. They're probably like, oh yeah, we're winning the duels, we got this edge going now, they can't get onto the site, and then literally same second, 3 of their players just get obliterated, and then it's all over. Fnatic, they're never going to let a man advantage slip out of their fingers like that.
Yeah, and you think the point in time where that round would crumble would be Arya getting sort of getting caught out in the open, right? As soon as that happens, you think, oh, well, he can't make it out. He actually wins the fight, but then they still lose the 3v5. It was only 3v5 for about a split second, but that's not the ideal way to start. Now, I do love this from Splyce. This is a good call. They're putting 3 people down, down Ivy. Flusher's holding it, but it's still like, showing it that they're trying to take some initiative here. While the rest of Fnatic, they were on the other side. So once Flusher sees what's happening, it should be an easy call, I think, for Fnatic to just make this B push work. And they're trying to slow it down still, but they could have, as soon as they saw that, they could have maybe just called it.
I like it a lot as well from Splyce. This is the difference between some of these teams. Some of the teams, they still, if they lose the pistol round in a decisive fashion, they decide to go for the force buy and hope to get lucky, hope to get something done with the pistol Kevlar kind of buy. Instead, Splyce, we used to see Astralis go for this, actually, where they're deciding in the second round, no, we're not going to invest anything. We're just going to buy a couple of pistols, P250s, a small investment on our side, and focus on the big buy round that'll be coming up so that we have maximum number of nades, basically as much utility as we possibly can to really lock down this CT side. So they're focusing on the long game here, Splyce. It shows that they have some confidence in their rifle play.
Abe, be nice if he could pick up just another kill here with the MAC-10, get a little bit of money in, and yeah, again, just trying to build something for his team. Fnatic playing on the less favorite side here on Train, and off to what looks like a decent start.
Tells you something about the pistols in CSGO, doesn't it? It has a MAC-10, thing costs money. Actually, no, I'll have the P250 out just in case because it does more damage.
Why not?
Why not?
I mean, especially because he knows they have armor as well. It is definitely a risk to try and see if you can make it work and fight that fight with the MAC-10.
Absolutely. It's all about that P250, the P250 headshot range. You can really do some mad damage with that pistol. But again, Splyce, and we see it here again, right? Just P250s being picked up, a single deagle picked up by Arya, and then Abe, he gets to hang around with that MAC-10 if he wants. He could even go so far as to invest in Kevlar just to give himself a little bit more oomph, a little bit more durability so he can take a bit of a spray fight if he runs into somebody. But he decides not to make that investment. He really is just going to be focusing on the nades in the 4th round buy. So the early flash going out, trying to slow JW down. And he's just going to go straight out T main, apply the pressure on the A site. Davy's going to get caught out. And just like that, Fnatic, they were looking like they wanted to go towards the B site, but the option is to go A. Good flash, though, is going to catch Dennis. And he gets caught out in the open.
Yeah, minimal investment being put in from Splyce here. Just the $200 into a flashbang, but it works out enough that they can get that kill. So, well worth it. Bomb goes down on the A bomb site. A bit of pre-fire coming out from JW with the MAC-10, getting 2 kills on Arya and Professor Chaos. And it's going to be down into a 2-1-4 here, and Abe actually picking up one shot with the MAC-10. Can he get reload in time? Looking for Olofmeister on the other side.
And Olofmeister, they need to be a little bit careful here. They can't really afford to give up more players in this Fnatic. So Olof, he's deciding to maybe play it a little safer. He does go for the jump and really just trying to maximize things. He realizes, wait a second, that was Mike MAC-10. That looks familiar. Still, 2 AK survive the round, 3 players at the end of it, and they will have more than enough money to go for a full buy here, Fnatic. But now we can see what this
Olaf,
what the save meant. It's just Abe is able to get full nades, get the Kevlar, get the kit to go along with it, and all of them can get a few more nades than they would have if they'd gone for the force buy in the second round.
All right. I thought for a minute Oliver was going to keep the MAC-10 because he was holding on to it during the almost
That would be
all
some
of it.
mad disrespect.
That
right?
would, exactly. And, you know, that could even be part of the plan. You just show them, actually, we don't care what you guys are doing. We're just going to play our game. Now is the real test for Splyce. They need an absolutely godlike first half, and it has to start right now. We've got Davey with that AWP. And Olaf already sneaking up all the way into brown holes there over by the B-bomb site. So, I mean, early map control here for Fnatic. They're not being challenged on Ivy either, too much. So, Splyce going with a very, very standard setup.
Very passive holds all around. Jason will be holding solo over here by Ivy. We can see Flusha kind of dancing on the other side of that smoke, waiting for it to clear. And Fnatic, they've gone back to a default kind of setup of their own as well, just spread out across the map. Jason, shot rings out, and he gets tagged down to half HP. But Fnatic, you know, they started this round out also waiting to see if there was going to be any aggression from Splyce, but also just to see how much of the map they could get control of. And so far, I mean, they can go wherever they want at this point, Fnatic. They've cleared out brown halls. They've got Flusha pushed all the way up to the entrance of Ivy. JW's chilling out in A main, and they've got a man in Pop Dog. They have the entire map to work with, so now Fnatic can just decide whatever they want to do, it can happen.
45 seconds, so actually Fnatic playing this one very slowly, showing maybe just, I think, a little bit of thoroughness early on here, not wanting to sort of throw anything away with any kind of crazy rushes. It's a nice crossfire that's being set up down at Ivy. Wonder if Flusha could try and break it. He's now going to peek the angle. It's just the timing is perfect here. Walks right in, and Professor Chaos turning his back. And Jason had sort of fallen away here, which is a bit of a shame because they did have the initial crossfire, which would have at least given a chance for Professor Chaos to turn around, but they gave up on that. Now the bomb's going to be going down. Davey with a nice shot, sneaking up on top. He gets a shot on Dennis, and Arya coming in for Olafmeister as well. It's going to be down to JW now in a 1-on-2. He gets the first kill in, and the bomb is ticking in front here. They're trying to see if they can isolate him. JW picking up a second kill, and now it's a 1-on-1. Davey, he needs the third kill. They got to get this round, and he's going to get it as well. All three with enough time to defuse, and Splyce picking up a fourth round. Absolutely fantastic.
That is huge. The fourth round win going in for him. And Davey, Moses, he said, you know, if you're going to keep an eye on anybody on this team right now, the people who are hitting shots, Davey was one of them with that AWP. And what beautiful movement as well on the bomb plant train. He just curved all around, made himself very difficult to pick off. And he made the decision as well. He could have picked off the bomb planter, but he decided to take out the man watching connector instead, giving his teammates more space to operate. He knows where the other one is. He knows where the bomb planter is. This is a lot of quick thinking on his feet that Davey was making. Just split-second decisions, and all of them right, leading to a crucial round win here for Splyce. The gamble of them not forcing up on the second round pistol, of maximizing the number of nades that they were going to be able to have in that fourth round, you know, really just banking everything on the fourth round, it pays off in the end for Splyce. And now they can actually have a decent start here on their CT side.
Well, the fifth round is going to be unfolding, and obviously Fnatic will have the money, especially with the bomb plant, to go for a buy, so that's what they've done. Olafmeister, and this is what Fiflar was warning about. If you let Olafmeister do this, he will sneak out into main and be very annoying. It's going to be Professor Chaos, though, to open up, and Davey winning that fight. Look how low he is, but comes out on top. A great trade favoring Splyce right now, and Aya actually making a choice I don't understand. When you're up 2 players, you should be playing so passively and defensively. Yeah,
or, you know, once you got brown halls, then just wait in brown halls. You know, pushing up into other angles, into the crossfire situations, could open it up, and Flusha does just that. Great crouch peek from him over in T-main that catches out Professor Chaos, and now we're into a 3-on-3, and Fnatic, they have the utility lead and the life lead. Davey, he's already been tagged down to 19 by Olafmeister earlier on in this round. So this situation favors Fnatic now. And this is why Fnatic are so lethal. This is why they're so dangerous. Even if they're behind in a round,
but this
the
is
slightest
smart.
mistake, they capitalize on.
Look how far up Davey is. He's checked out everything. That's why Jason is making a rotation over to the B-bomb side. So they're actually reading this very well. Splyce, in spite of a couple of mistakes in this round, are actually having a pretty good read here. Crims trying to see if they can maybe get out here, but the bomb is making its way back. So Crims just trying to sell a fake at the moment. 25 seconds. Abe and Jason are both on this bomb site, ready to try and see if they can defend it. And he spots the first guy jumping in, but Dennis, what a ridiculous running AK headshot to take out Abe. And Jason, that smoke's going to cover it as well. They're in a world of trouble.
Yeah, and Dennis is close. No chance at all for Jason. He gets obliterated. And it's all down to Davey, and he just has to hold on to his AWP. There's no choice. He has to back off. He's not going to be able to pull off a 1v3. And the economy, I mean, we just come right back into it where, again, it's what we saw on Cash earlier today between FaZe and Liquid, where that economy reset is just so brutal to deal with on your CT side. He's the only man alive. He has an AWP. He hits a sick headshot onto Cribs.
That grenade even tagged him down to 2 health.
I mean, Fnatic know how important this AWP is. Fnatic are going to have money to buy in the next round, so if they can get it off of him, that would be big. And Dennis, nice air control. Manages to snake around that bullet. and pick up the kill. So Fnatic, they regain control immediately.
Right, so this is a really weird... I'm sure the analysts are going to be talking about this round, because when you're in a 3v5 like that, you have to play defender. There's no reason, there's not much to gain. The risk versus reward sort of calculation that has to come out heavily in favor of just staying put. But even once they do that and it's back into a 3-on-3, Davey, who's got very little health, he sneaks up and he gets so much information for his team. So you'd think that Abe and Jason were able to set up a better defense over at B, but they weren't either. So there's just, it's sort of a mix of really good decision making and then some bad in there as well. And Fnatic, they will take advantage of stuff like that. And now he's got the Mac 10 ready to get some money in. He's going to do just that.
Yeah, as if Olaf needed more money. But, you know, he'll make it happen. Fnatic, I mean, they've only won the last 6 tournaments they've participated in. Some of those $250,000 tournaments. So, you know,
why not?
Big paydays, make that money.
Yeah, and whoever wins this one is essentially going to be winning 2 of the previous majors in sort of economic terms, right? It's 500,000 for the first place, which obviously is significant. Which
is 5 times the first place prize pool for the last major, right?
Yeah.
Or what you made out of winning the last major. Super sick. I mean, this tournament, the hype is huge. And well, right now Splyce are just trying to slow down. I mean, they need to just take a deep breath and say, okay, we got ahead of ourselves. We decided to play a bit too confident, pushing up and taking risks when we really should have been, playing our standard game, our default game, falling back and playing safe. That's a confidence thing, and they got a little overconfident. So now they got that reality check. Fnatic were just like, actually, if you make mistakes versus us, you don't get away with it. We just take what we want at that point. So Splyce, it's going to be another round of eco for them, and everything is going to come down to this next rifle round, because if they lose it, it's going to be real tough to see, how they're going to be able to get their heads back into this game. Fnatic are just not going to let up.
I mean, I would even argue this is already past the point of what Splyce could have allowed for Fnatic to get. If this finishes 10-5, Fnatic are just going to shrug and say, that's fine, no problem. And the fact that they have to eco now means it is going the way that the analysts were predicting. In spite of some good, I would say some good signs on Splyce. I mean, we haven't seen them just sort of roll over. It's just that they're playing Fnatic, and any little mistake will absolutely be exploited.
Yeah, and Fnatic, I think also, it was a little touch and go at the beginning, and that's also just Fnatic. They might have been underestimating Splyce a little bit at the beginning, where it's just like, oh, okay, we should be clear-cut winners here. There shouldn't really be much of a threat coming from these guys. And sometimes you see Fnatic where they'll lose like a first half, actually, and it's not until the second half where they actually, get their heads in the game and start, getting some rounds on the board. This is a different Fnatic that we're seeing. They didn't waste any time at all in readjusting and tightening up their play and making sure that, Splyce, they couldn't get any momentum going for themselves at all. There was no, false hope for the North Americans here. Fnatic, they had some mercy. They actually just, shattered that hope right off the bat.
You think that's better, right?
Yeah, quick and clean, man. Don't drag it out.
Well, you know what this is. You know how in MMA, if you've got like a new up-and-coming fighter who needs like an impressive win record, you just invite like amateurs in to fight them early on, and I'm sure those amateurs at the same rate, they're also coming into it thinking, I could maybe win this, and then they fight a professional fighter and get absolutely destroyed. It might be something like this going on here for Fnatic. Just adding a bit more to it.
It's like the
Except
hazing.
you can't really tap out during this, can you? You've got to play it through.
Are we saying that Splyce are like Saiyans or something? Every time they get close to dying, like Fnatic are gonna just take them to the edge, and Splyce will get a little bit stronger next time, a little bit stronger the next time.
I think that's generally how Counter-Strike works. You show up, you get destroyed on the first time, you do it 10 times in a row, and suddenly you learn something. It's tough, but it's been that way for a lot of teams.
It certainly isn't easy. It's a bit brutal, but now, I mean, this is it. The double round of eco going into it, and now Splyce, they have the money for the AWP, they have the money for the utility, and Olaf Meister, he just checks Arya there now because he saw him there in the past couple of rounds. So he's like, okay, if you like to play that spot, I'll just make sure that I get eyes on it immediately. Removes that threat, and now with a minute 15 on the clock, Fnatic have a man advantage, and they still have a presence over here on the A side, so it's about to get pretty tricky here for Abe.
Well, it was a good position because he got flashed, so might as well try and hide behind Electric. Jason actually reveals his position. That's a bit dangerous. He's very isolated. There is a guy walking up behind him at Ivy as well, so he's in a terrible spot there. And JW going to put him out of his misery as well. So it's Professor Chaos picking up a kill there on Olaf, bringing it back into a 2-on-4. Davey missing a shot, which he hasn't done much of so far, and almost not making it out there. He's going to go down to JW, and it will be Professor Chaos left. one of the interesting players in the sense that he, I think, still plays with a very high sensitivity. That used to be sort of, and he, I mean, and now Davies obviously doing it. He used to AWP as well in some of the previous teams. So just things that don't go well together, it seems, is high sensitivity and AWPing, but he makes it work
somehow, right? It's like him, Hiko. Hiko also plays with pretty high sense, higher than normal, right? And when we say high sense, we mean, you know, in game, like how far you have to move your mouse to move your crosshair in game. Low sense means that you have to move your mouse quite a bit. That's why a lot of these guys have really big mouse pads. They're moving their mouse quite a bit, you know, to be able to track that that crosshair around. Professor Chaos, he's one of those guys who actually plays with a very high sense, which means he doesn't have to move his mouse much. The crosshair just goes zipping all over the place. I actually have no idea how you play an FPS with that high sense, but
well, I mean,
it works.
When you say Hiko's is high, I think Hiko would be like at like, you know, 5 or 6, something like that. Which I think Professor K is like way above that.
Yeah, he's actually.
It's like it's some really mad stuff going on, but maybe someone should ask that in the interview question. And we need confirmation if he's still doing it or not. But 7-1 is the current scoreline in favor of Fnatic. In case you were doubting that, it is looking really tough for Splyce. There's been some glimmers, I would say, of hope and also skill, but it's looking tough. And there's one of them as well. Aya picking up a good kill on Olofmeister, boosting on top of the smoke on the railing there. But JW and Flusher will bring it back and take down Abe and Davey. So it is still a 3-on-4 here in the 9th round, and Splyce really don't have much else apart from this M4 that Professor Chaos has saved.
Yeah, this is their last hope, basically. They need to just cross their fingers and pray that Fnatic are going to walk into a crossfire or something along those lines. Jason R just dies. I mean, trying to push forward needlessly basically costs the chance there for Professor Chaos to have any real impact, because as soon as Dennis spots him out, that's it. It's donezo for him. And now Arya, I mean, he does manage to secure that AK that he dropped off of Olofmeister earlier on, but Fnatic can actually have this in mind. You know, JW, he's already holding for the backstab in case Arya tries to work his way out through White Halls, because they know where Olofmeister died. So they're like, okay, chances are he might head over there for the AK. Chances are he's going to try and save that AK. Maybe we just watch these angles and make sure that he can't just walk up to us. Or maybe we just kind of like sacrifice ourselves. That works too. Let's give him an op.
Or can he keep it? They're all coming for him, and there's actually some time still before that bomb goes up. So this is just a little bit worrying if you're Arya. Good job at least putting up the Molotov, trying to buy even more time. Maybe he's going to be successful. That would be significant. I mean, dude, again, any little bit matters. This is the kind of stuff that Fallen does as well that always like tilts me a little bit, is that he just loves to go out there and hunt for people with an AWP. And I'm like, well, Fallen, if you're alone and none of your teammates are around, if you die, you drop that AWP and the guy gets a free AWP. And that's just what we saw from JW. He dies, nobody's around, and he actually manages to sneak his way out of there. So free AWP, that's actually pretty huge considering what we saw from Davey when he had his op. So there's a big chance now for Splyce to have a bit of an impact here. Looks like we had a counter-terrorist, so yeah, basically Splyce calling for the tactical timeout now. Considering Fnatic have 8 rounds on the board, they are going to be going into a buy round here, Splyce, so it could be a good time to actually, sit down and decide what it is exactly they're going to try and do here in the next key round. You got to wonder, what kind of conversation can you be having at this point if you're Splyce, I don't think it's you play a game like this and you get sort of picked apart like they are right now by Fnatic. Mm-hmm. It's not that it's sort of a waste of time for you to play the game. It's just that in the middle of the game, it's so hard. I mean, even the stuff that we can see, I mean, it's been hard for us to point out a lot of things, but if you find something even as a spectator, as a third-person observer, you find something that you feel like, well, this is what they're doing wrong. If you're in the game, it's so hard to see it. You really don't see it until you watch them or later on. Well, I see their coach right now doing a lot of the talking, and this is where the advantage of a coach can come into play, where you have that man, he's not in the game, he's not in the server. Instead, he's watching all 5 screens, and he might be picking up on some of the details that, a player who's so invested and focused on the game might not notice, right? So the coach, he's actually doing quite a bit of talking, and the players, they're all just sitting there listening to him as well. There isn't a lot of talking going on with the players, so they really are paying attention to what this man has to say. So maybe, the fact that they actually have that coach, they have that guy who's taken a step back from the game, maybe they do get a little bit of an edge, a little bit of info from him. Here's hoping, because Splyce, they need something. They need anything they can get. Yeah. And the Swedes right now, I mean, the Swedes are just monstrous. They're doing exactly what everybody expected them to do. Cast your vote. Wait a second. Splyce get a 43% vote versus Fnatic? When Mousesports were getting like an 18% vote versus Luminosity? Come on, guys. Come on, viewers. I mean, it could be like a troll vote, Is this a troll vote? People just think it's they're trying to tilt. They're trying to tilt me. It is apparently real, as what our producer is telling us. So a lot of you guys have maybe just been staying up for too long at this point. Complete lack of sleep, insomnia, leading to some form of insanity. I imagine. No. I have my favorite saying, right? Hope springs eternal, Anders.
It's just that Fnatic, more often than not, they find, you know, the plug. They just kind of like, you know, plug up that spring, and there's just no hope left. That's it. Dries up in the sun.
There has to be sort of a line made between being hopeful and being utterly delusional. Just a little bit of a gap there. All right, we've got Davey and Jason pushing down Ivy, and again, I like this idea. This is about Splyce trying to stop Fnatic from playing their game. The problem is, Fnatic don't really care, and they're just rushing out into the courtyard here. Aya going to be taking a shot at Olaf Meister, and actually Jason coming back from Ivy to take down Dennis. And again, they're in this 3 versus 5, and Professor Chaos going to take down 2. It's Flusher and Crims dying. A 1-on-5 JW. Even JW Semler. I don't see him doing this.
Even JW, really? You gonna lose faith in the JW?
JW. Yeah, I can't see it.
He's about to go full wild boar on these guys, Anders. Can you hear it? Yeah, I can hear it. There's the one. He's got a minute left to work with. Bomb is right below.
Did you just manage to fit in
yes.
a pig joke into this? I love it. What's so brilliant is that JW has so fully adopted that into into his brand. I absolutely love it.
He's owned it, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He's such a nice guy as well. So all the best to him. But I don't think being kind is what's going to sort of bring him out of this situation. He's got the first kill, yes. He's got the second, but now there's only 30 seconds left. He's got the bomb picked up, and he's going to go back for it again here. And Splyce, I mean, this would be the ultimate kind of humiliation if they actually manage to throw this round away. 20 seconds, and it's going to be Professor Chaos inside. Davey is already sort of scouting out the other side of the map and walking up behind JW. So this should be 100% still.
6 HP.
12 seconds.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the time.
No
or
way.
Not. Or not! No way! Come on!
He picks it up. It's now 1-on-2. He can go for a little bit more. The Molotov's going to rain in. If that fire touches him, it's going to be a bullet instead, and Jason will pick it up. But you think for just a moment, and it shows you, again, we bring up that, you know, it shows you any mistake, any chink in the armor, and Fnatic will just will make it work. What a ridiculous round.
Yeah, like, come on. It's just like the no-scope point blank. He goes for the fake plant. JW, what an unreal. I mean, he didn't get it, obviously, but that's just unreal. That's going to really hard. Like, that's a hard check to Splyce right now. Just like, okay, then. So this guy can nearly 1v5 us. Gotcha. All right, well.
How long before they force the Fnatic eco? Well, there's actually still so much money on the Swedish side. That's part of the problem here. They need to win, you know, consecutive rounds. They need to win this one and the next, and even then, it's going to be questionable. And Flusher's obviously not letting that happen. Just straight wrecking the first 2 players coming down at Ivy. Davey going to get 1 kill here. JW missing a shot, but then escaping through the smoke. Professor Chaos on the other side.
Yeah, now they're actually. I mean, Dennis rotates in. He's going to try and lend a hand now that they have the info to go off of. Professor Chaos is close. Dennis is going to find the shot on him. Last man alive is going to be Davey. He's down to 8 HP, so he could be his chance to shine. There's the first kill. But Dennis, he's not, no jokes. No fun on this server.
No, you see JW wanted to knife whoever was in that corner as well. He's ready for it.
He's just like, I have mad money. I can do what I want. I have 8,400. Crims has got 13,000. And then the rest of them can all full buy. So Fnatic right now, there's just no pressure on them whatsoever. It is all on Splyce. And one thing that we noticed as well during the qualifiers, I mean, that I think everybody noticed, like the level of hype that was coming out of Splyce, the shouting, you know, the intensity from them. We're just not getting that right now, and that's the problem. You need to have that when you're losing as well, guys. Because if it's only when you win, you know, your team, you're relying on that high to carry you through, on that adrenaline. You need to try and find a way to get that adrenaline flow in here, because right now it's just not working.
I mean, I think you would have to be as delusional as our audience has apparently been in order to get hyped up right now. You'd have to be essentially lying to yourself to do it. But it's true. I mean, if you don't have that energy, then what are you really working off of at this point? Very, very clean round coming in from Fnatic here. Able to get a kill there. Davey going to be losing the AWPs. That's a bit of a shame. And Abe is also sandwiched in, so there's pretty much no way for him to go. There will be Olaf Meister to take care of business. So 10-2 here. As we're moving into the very late stages of the first half, and Fnatic are, I would say, predictably doing extremely well at the moment.
Everybody on Fnatic as well. Crims is the only one who's lagging behind, but that's, I mean, it's like 7-3-3. You got Flusha sitting on 14-2-3 right now. Okay then. Dennis 10-6. JW double digits. Olaf Meister double digits. everybody's hitting their shots on Fnatic right now. It just so happens that, you know, Crims, he just happens to get there late, and everybody's already dead, right? He's like the cop that shows up at the crime scene, at the murder scene.
Too late.
Too late.
Dennis trying to see if he can make this work. He's going to get the first kill in, sprays a second, and not going to be quite a third. It's a decent trade considering that Splyce really don't have a lot going into this round, just a little bit of armor and pistols, so sort of a semi-buy. Didn't use all their money, and a nice shot from Jason actually, taking down JW, but he's alone, and they know his position as well, and he's sandwiched in here. Really, really needs to make it out. He makes it around the corner at least. Still should not be a winnable position for him here, and he walks right in to olofmeister, who takes the kill.
The monster. And the AWP gets saved as well by Flusha in the end. So Fnatic just continue to build that economy. And in the 14th round now, Splyce, after, I mean, it's just the same story. It's just Fnatic have been controlling the economy through and through. Splyce are finally going to be able to piece together another buy round here. But again, it's just by the skin of their teeth. Op on Davey, but a single smoke there. Abe can't even afford a helmet or a kit. A single flash and smoke for him with the rifle. It's just not a lot to work with. And so Fnatic, they just keep having an easy time of it, to the point where now they're starting to actually loosen up a bit, Fnatic, and go for the double op on T side. There's like, okay, we're so far ahead in the lead now, we can start going for some unorthodox plays.
They must be having a good time. Even going for the boost to look over the window there. Can't quite see anyone up on the carriage. It's going to be Davey and Professor Chaos instead, picking up a kill each. And again, 5 versus 3. You have to expect that they're going to be playing defensively now. They at least need to learn from the mistake from earlier.
Okay, let's see. There's the smoke that goes down a block. Early rotation coming in here from Abe, so he will be here to lend a hand on this B site. And Fnatic right now, they're trying to do the best that they can to get some kind of reaction out of Splyce. Just a single smoke going down, the single flash. So Splyce, they choose not to over-rotate either. This is some good patience being displayed here by the North Americans. They're not taking the bait. They're waiting to see. They're waiting for Fnatic to commit themselves at this point because they realize we have a 2-man advantage. So let the 2 guys on the B side do some work. If they get overwhelmed, you know, it's still fairly even going into the retake.
I mean, if even one of these people trade with the incoming Fnatic push, that should be enough for the retake to work, right? What they can't do is both obviously get killed. Good Molotovs raining in to try and zone out some of the most popular positions here. Aya down in the site. He's going to go down to Dennis. Nice shot mid-air from Abe. Cutting off Dennis there and getting the kill. 30 seconds now, and it's a 2-on-3. And the big problem is olofmeister could be lethal in this position. They have 1 Molotov to try and zone him out with.
They really don't have enough. I mean, Professor Chaos, he's got the smoke as well. Nice nade onto upper. That's going to do some damage. And now olofmeister, he's actually looking for the backstab. He's up in Brown Halls, and so he's not here to lend a hand to Crims. Crims, he just has to stay alive on his own and buy as much time as possible. And he's going to pick up the first kill onto Jason, turns it into a 2-on-2 retake. 2 ops for Splyce as well. They're trying to change out for rifles, and Crims is there to punish. It's just falling apart now for Splyce. Somehow, Fnatic, they've turned this into a 1v1, and Olof, he's got the high ground advantage. Davey, just easy pickings for Olof in the end, and another round going Fnatic's way. Even with 5 players alive, it's not enough for Splyce to get the job done versus the best in the world.
And I think that round crystallizes what the problem is with just the skill level, right? It's not that I think Splyce have tried to show us sort of, you know, varieties and sort of they've taken initiative in a bunch of rounds, which I think is good. I much prefer people do that. I think it's the worst thing is watching a sort of an underdog team that just out of sheer sort of shock and horror at playing such a good team, they stop even thinking and they just play, you know, whatever default Counter-Strike they can. I think Splyce have done better than that. But in a round like this, what are you supposed to do if you can't actually win a 3v5 like that? And this round, obviously, with really no money or anything, it's the last of the half. They're all going to get shut down. It's 13-2 for the first half on the terror side, favoring Fnatic. And Splyce, I mean, yeah. And
there's just no weak link for Splyce to exploit at this point. Everybody's in double digits on Fnatic side. It's not like somebody's having an off game. Even Crims is caught up at this point after that big round. He's at 13 kills. So, I mean, they're all hitting their shots, Fnatic, right now. They're just... And it's a really difficult sort of situation for Splyce as well because Fnatic, they just keep going defaults. They just keep spreading out and just winning all the duels. They're just winning all the duels. It's not like they're doing anything really special. They keep just sitting around and waiting for Splyce to come to them. And it's like, oh, I got 2 kills. Great. Now what do we want to do, right? We can just go wherever we want on the map.
So, I mean, again, if this was an MMA match, I feel like this would be the point where you've been in the chokehold for a while, but there's no referee to actually sort of stop the fight or anything. And you've already passed out. So you can't even tap out either. You know, it's actually pretty bad at this point, yeah.
I think what happens after that is that you just kind of like die, right, Anders? You know, like you passed out.
Yeah, maybe then
chokehold.
Fnatic, like some sort of like, you know, Cobra or something like that will finally, or you know, like one of those huge snakes, like
Are you calling them like an anaconda or something?
Anaconda, that's the word I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, just you know, this, only until they stop breathing, you know, that's when they stop. That's where it ends.
That's where it ends.
It's pretty brutal, pretty dark.
They just like collect their soul.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, we're being pretty harsh on Splyce here, but this is I mean, it is the case that they are the massive underdogs in this tournament. I mean, they weren't even supposed to make it through the qualifiers. Somehow they did in fine fashion, but now we're starting to see just this gigantic gap between the very best in the world and basically the best of all time in any CS version, Fnatic. Yeah. Like what they've achieved in CSGO, especially over the past 4-month period, it's just unreal, the levels that they hit. And so you're just seeing the gap right now between, you know, the tier 2, tier 3 team versus, you know, the very best.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Okay, cast your vote. Now, I'm not buying it, guys. I'm not buying it.
Come on, stop trolling us. Stop trolling.
The comeback, Anders, never give up. That's you know what? That's the thing. The community are reminding us right now, Anders, that in the game that is called CS, it's a beautiful game. There's always a chance. Even if your opponents are on 15 rounds, the comeback, it can always happen, Anders.
Look, let's not make this political or anything, but you've got to, you know, some of these people are allowed to vote in real elections as well. I'm getting really scared right now. It's 13-2, and we've got the 16th round coming up. Splyce, obviously very, very far behind. Let's see if they can make an impact on this round. They've got the attack here coming in, and Davey with a beautiful shot to take down Flusher. That's a nice start here, zoning out and almost killing Dennis as well. And Davey really sort of proving himself to be to take matters. Oh, he gets that shot. Dennis trying to escape back into the back holes there, but not going to be making it work. And now 5 versus 3. A lot of initiative being shown by Davey here.
Just a single individual play. Yeah. Just stepping up. And again, he had one round basically in the last half where he was able to just be the hero. And this round, again, we're seeing it here in the pistol. Davey going ham. Quad kill. Arya's going to get the ace, and that's only because Davey wasn't around. JW going for the backstab play instead, but just Davey. If
you wanted to make a name for yourself, practically acing Fnatic on LAN in a major tournament, you know, is not a bad idea in a pistol round. It's pretty impressive.
It's a good way to go about it. Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
In the pistol as well. You just kind of hope that, you kind of wish that the score wasn't so drastic for him right now.
You don't believe in the comeback somehow?
Because, I mean, Splyce, yes, you won the pistol, but you're on 3 rounds versus Fnatic's 13. And Fnatic, they go for the 4-spy. Fnatic are one of those teams that actually don't care about getting the nades in the 4th round. They're just like, actually, no, we just go for the CZ armor because we are dangerous with it. We can win rounds off of it. And so they don't hesitate. They don't hold back. They play CSGO. Ooh.
It's a bit of an annoying shot coming out of JW, bringing Davey, the top fragger, down to 6 health, but still a favorable trade here as Olofmeister does go down, and we'll see if Splyce, I mean, these are the sort of rounds that, at least for confidence sake, they should be picking up, right? They should at least be able to make this sort of 5-13.
Well, there's the first kill coming in here. In this retake, I mean, bomb gets planted on that B site. Flusha, he was drawing some good attention to himself. Crim's on the backstab is going to get caught, and now they know where JW is as well. So this is a lot of information to go off of here for Splyce. Doesn't matter to JW, though. Walks up there with the CZ, just point-blank shots, shoots Abe in the face. And well, now they're kind of stuck. Davey, he shouldn't survive if that bomb goes off, and he's only got 6 HP unless they can find a way out. But he's got the SMG, so it's not the end of the world if this guy goes down. They need to find a way to survive with both of these AKs, and it looks like they will achieve that. Splyce, they hold on to the expensive rifles in the end, and it looks like Davey might be able to get far enough away to survive as well.
3 health. He got far enough away to only lose half his health. That's a bit crazy.
There we go. There we go. Been waiting for that.
I can't help but feel that there's a bit of sarcasm involved in that kind of thing.
You know who was just grinning a little bit if he's watching right now? Jaguar. He literally just went, "What up now, Swedes?"
Might be busy playing poker.
Yeah. I'm sure he watches some CS every now and again, bro.
The only way that Splyce could make it back in this game is by lightning striking the metal rod that Fnatic have impaled him with, and it's sort of a Jason Voorhees type thing coming back, you know, alive. It has to be a full-on resurrection, you know, because they've already been choked out, as we discussed. It's reference game.
Incredibly on point.
It's going to be 18th round here coming up, and Fnatic with armor and pistols. Maybe also a sign that they're just not really worried about this. They know that even if it comes close here, there's very, very little chance for Splyce to do anything.
Yeah, this is, I mean, this is just supreme confidence in their game. Because this is, if it were any other team, we would say this is actually a common trap to fall into. You think, oh, we have such a huge lead that you don't take your opponent seriously. You do goofy stuff like forcing and, you know, chain forcing. And then before you know it, Splyce, they're caught up, and now you're in a real match, and you have to get your head into the game in a serious way, and that's how you get caught. We've seen teams lose in that fashion before. That's how the run back happens. Not sure that Fnatic are going to allow that to happen, however. I mean, they're of a different kind of caliber.
JW has managed to secure himself an AK from the previous round, and we'll see if that's going to be put into play. It looks like it will. Oh no, JW still alive, and Flusher coming into it with a duel. He's not quite going to get a kill. Dennis hiding at the edge with the Deagle, doing very good damage, but not quite enough to get a second kill yet. He's still alive though, making his way back around the corner, and if he'd hit that shot, it would have been Davey dead. They're making their way back to the B bomb site, but Fnatic are already hot on their heels. And you gotta wonder if Crims and Dennis could actually steal this round away from Splyce. That would be so upsetting.
Well, they have AKs now, but they're playing this so well, Splyce. They get the smoke down on lower, the smoke on connector, and they're trying to funnel Fnatic into upper, basically, where Ario's waiting with the AWP to scope that out and get that kill. So we'll see if they're actually able to accomplish this here, Fnatic. I mean, it's just so low HP on Splyce. A good spray, and that would be it. It'd be done, but Crims, they're just gonna walk right by him, and Davey with the big double spray down is there to save it for Splyce.
Just listen to that. I love it. Absolutely love it.
Surprising that Fnatic don't check that corner. Two of them there, and they don't check that angle.
Look, there is sort of a wider point I sort of want to try and make here when it comes to Fnatic and sort of the overall tournament, right?
Right.
If this goes the way that it looks like it will, you know, that Fnatic probably gonna finish this before Splyce even gets 10 rounds. That also means, sort of going into the later stages of the tournament, Fnatic won't have been sort of properly tested on train. They won't have had to put out any of like their weird strats. No, like, you know, oh, we gotta pull out the really big playbook here. That means other teams that might sort of want to know what Fnatic have up their sleeve, they won't sort of be able to get anything from this game. Fnatic are just playing whatever they like. And he actually gets that jumping shot on Professor Chaos. Come on, Olofmeister.
Two of them, back-to-back jumping shots. That's disgusting. All right, Olaf. You just keep wowing us. It's all good. JW, will he hit the shot on Arya? Oh, there's the angle. Wallbang shot going in. Arya not going to get the kill, just doing the damage instead.
Oh, man. Yeah, just to say that sort of, yeah, in the context of Fnatic and the whole tournament, that they're going to be sort of unharmed going through this game, which does make a difference. Aya trying to see if he can make it in and get that shot, but Dennis is going to get it, and it's a bit of a shame that he couldn't clip JW enough to get the kill there. Davey tries to get the spray down. He's going to pick it up, steals the AWP. It's not going to be enough, but it will be 14-5 here. Fnatic now very, very close.
Oh, now the counter troll coming out from the Swedes.
Why not?
Like, everybody on Fnatic is a troll. So, I mean, well, that's right up their alley.
Well, even more so, I think, than most people realize. Maybe especially people like JW and Olofmeister even.
Yes.
Like, for the longest time, had a reputation in the local Swedish scene as being just massive trolls, and I think it is sort of almost ironic that they've made it to become the best in the world.
It's like get wrecked, the haters, you know. That's mainly it. And I mean, out of pretty much any team, they have received the most hate, Fnatic. So to see them just, you know, that's like the ultimate story, as they just completely crush Splyce's force buy push coming out here onto the A side, and just everybody dies, and a very clean win there for Fnatic. But I mean, that's it, right? It's like they've taken everything the community could dish out at them, and they still just dominate. They still just power through, and it's just saying, you know, like, actually, you know, okay, if you guys are going to shovel the hate at us, we're just going to win everything.
Well, I appreciate that because
and make mad money.
What I really like about it is, you know, I feel like it's good for the game though, because you know you need to have. Oh, come on. That wasn't even like a screen. That was some sort of jungle sound there going into. I don't know what that is. Look, I mean, every game, every story needs like a villain, right? Fnatic are it.
Yes.
They're also the best. It's fantastic. There's really sort of a Sith Lord thing going on here with Fnatic.
I was gonna say, you know, in this world, you know, Dr. Evil is competent, but.
Well, we're going to see if there is one last chance here for Splyce to make it work. It certainly doesn't look like it. Davey getting a little bit back here with the Tech-9, getting a double kill, shutting down JW and Flusher. So, again, he individually has been playing very well. I think Professor K has also been stepping up, but it is not enough, it seems, to sort of deal with the might of Fnatic, the absolute best team in the world. It's going to be a bomb plant down. It's a 3-on-2 right now, and just Professor Chaos and Davey left at very low HP, and Olaf charging the high ground here, looking for an opening, and it's going to be Chaos going down. Davey, the last in a 1-on-3. He's certainly got, he's actually not even got the angle for it. I thought he was going to walk the other way around, so it should be a chance for a defuse here. He's going to go down, and Fnatic will take it 16-5 over Splyce here in the first game of the MLG CSGO Major Tournament.
And it wasn't anything crazy. You're right. You know, Fnatic, they weren't pressed. It wasn't anything crazy. It was a lot of default plays coming out from Fnatic, them just spreading out across the map, looking for duels. And that's where you see the gap in individual skill between both of these teams. And the mindset in particular, I mean, Davey showed that he's able to put up a bit of a fight, but it's just that Fnatic, they won all the duels. And then from there, when you're on your T side, you're winning all the duels, then you get to do whatever you want. You don't have to come up with some crazy strat. It's just like, actually, we have the man advantage, so let's just, you know, go inner site or go A site or do whatever the hell we want. Actually, let's just pick them all off one at a time. You know, this is all Fnatic had to do to secure this win here versus Splyce. So a real tough start for Splyce here in the tournament. I mean,
absolutely, and I think, you know, obviously it's upsetting. You wish you could have one of those sort of breakout games where you got like, you know, you got like 10, 12 rounds on the board and it looked amazing. But you know, at the end of the day, when you go back, I mean, after a while, you know, after a couple of days here, I think they're going to look back and they're going to think, well, okay, we were playing Fnatic. Like, what are we going to do really? Their next game, I think, is going to be more interesting. See if they could maybe show just a bit more.
That's the true struggle for any team really right now. You know, I was trying to think about that, where it's just like, okay, how does Splyce feel about going up against Fnatic first? I mean, you always have to say that if you enter a tournament, you need to be capable of beating anybody, right? You're going to have to be able, you know, you play somebody, you beat somebody. That's how it has to be. But you know, it is a bit of a tough break for Splyce. You know, they're like, oh, it's our dream. It's somehow, you know, our dream became a reality. We're at the major, guys. And then Valve, like, we're just like, actually, nah, bro. You know, actually, just go back to sleep.
Yeah, well, not the ideal start, but what could you really do? Train as a map. I mean, you gotta still think. I think they showed us some things, right? They showed some initiative. They were willing to push.
Sure.
But those duels against Fnatic, I think that the crystal clear round was the 3-on-5 that they just couldn't close it out. You know, Fnatic just pushing B and winning it anyway.
Just doing work, and that's kind of what we expect out of Fnatic. It's the level that we expect to see from them. They should dominate through and through. And this is going to be the true challenge. Just once we start getting through the group phase into the quarters and semis with this team, who's going to be able to put a stop to them? Because if Fnatic make it to the finals, Fnatic don't lose finals, Anders.
Well, maybe we can get an answer from Olaf Meister, because he's ready on the stage with Chris Puckett as well. So Chris, please take it away.
All right, guys, we are live. Thank you, producer. Puckett here with Olaf Meister. Olaf, a big win here over Splyce to start off the day. Pretty one-sided, but a lot of people were predicting this. You were sitting backstage talking to Kenny S before the match even began. I didn't see you warming up too much. What was your preparation coming into this match specifically?
No, I didn't warm up that much, but I have a little problem with my wrist right now, so that's why I didn't warm up. So I'm trying to play as little as possible.
And how concerned should Fnatic fans be? How much is the wrist bothering you right now?
It's bothering me a little, but like when you're in the game, you're focusing so much on the game. So that, like, hopefully not that much.
Well, it didn't seem to be affecting your shot too much. You guys won that one pretty convincingly. And I was backstage talking with Red Eye, and he said undeniably Fnatic is definitely the best team entering this tournament, definitely the best team entering this group, and arguably the best team of all time. How do you feel you stack up against squads like the original SK, the Golden Five, NIP from 2012?
I haven't really thought about like those legends. I don't think we're there yet to be compared to those legends, but hopefully in a few years we can say that we are. But in CSGO, I think we are one of the best, if not the best team in history in CSGO.
And what would you need to accomplish to be considered the best team of all time in Counter-Strike?
A few more majors.
Few more majors. Now, Envy won the last one. You guys are coming in here trying to defend all the other titles. We saw a great finish to 2015, fantastic start to 2016. Who's going to be your major competition in this event?
I would probably say Luminosity, this event. We were thinking about NIP as well, because we have always played close to NIP, because they are from Sweden as well, so they know how we play and we know how they play, so it's kind of like we know everything about each other. But now that they play with Tread instead of Pit, it's kind of hard to know how good they are right now, but probably Luminosity and maybe NIP.
In the group, you have Splyce, of course, who you just beat. They'll be playing against FaZe. Meanwhile, you'll be playing against Team Liquid. Did you expect Liquid to be in this matchup?
No, but like that game were kind of 50-50 to me. I mean, FaZe haven't really played that good lately, but they are a really good team and they always show up to the major. But for me, it wasn't that big of an upset, no.
Okay, well, we have one other big matchup coming up here on the main stage. After this, we're going to see CLG versus Envy, who has been struggling recently. Who do you think is the stronger squad entering that match?
On paper, MVS is the stronger squad for sure, but it's hard to know with MVS right now where they are. So I will guess on MVS if I had to choose one, but I don't know. It's hard.
All right, well, I'll let you go rest. Actually, I'll give you a fist bump. Keep that wrist healthy. That's Olaf Meister, Fnatic, moving on to our winners match. Well, let's hear it from the analyst desk. Guys, what do you think about that matchup?
Thank you very much, Chris. Again, Olaf Meister, very humble guy. Won't call himself the best team on the planet quite yet. Wants a few more majors under his belt, as if he doesn't have enough. Again, you talked about in the pregame, there wasn't really going to be much happening here for Splyce. They get a grand total of 5 rounds. Could have had a few more if they had played a little more heads-up, better Counter-Strike, if you will, in a few of those rounds. But again, it was Fnatics all day long.
Definitely, you could see that. You could see the discrepancy between the two teams, right? At first, Splyce was trying to challenge. They got shut down, and then later on you could see how scared they were at times, even to challenge Fnatic players on duels. And you cannot play like that because you let them run out towards yard, you let them gain control of the site as well, and it was a pretty straightforward game for Fnatic.
I think one of their few strengths, or not maybe not even strengths, but going into that match, one of the positive things they had going for them was just the fact that they were, I think, oblivious or refused to believe in how big the gap was between them and Fnatic. They learned that lesson pretty quickly, though. That got figured out real early on.
For me, it was just a lot of fundamental mistakes coming in from Splyce. That 3-on-5, for example, retakes, the inner bomb side comes to mind, where you have this one guy just run up, no help whatsoever, ends up dying, and that it was a winnable round, but then you just throw it away. But yeah, I mean, like Jason was saying as well, I mean, we're talking about the best team in the world versus a team that technically shouldn't even be here, since they, Mongols got visa issues. They ended up winning the qualifier, but it's a whole other beast. Sure, maybe the next game will be a little bit closer, but yeah, as we thought, Fnatic would just go away with it. Well,
and we did grab a couple highlights, and I think we're going to start off with the most important highlight because it really sets the tone for the. And it does start on round 10, but it just really kind of sets the tone for how this whole thing worked out.
This is
Keys to victory.
This is my thing, boys. I pick out important replays, and this is where it all went wrong for Splyce.
They've even slowed it down for you.
This is Fnatic leaving T-spawn at the beginning of the round, and the hydrant is there, of course. This is a beautiful shot.
I believe that's a highlight.
Props to the observers. So this is where it all went wrong. Fnatic were actually. They actually showed up for this game.
They were in the server and they left spawn.
Oh, I see.
GG.
Yeah, that's
great.
I was expecting something else where it's okay, now round number 10. I was like, is this knife round or round number 1? I can see that, right? But it's okay, that's
all right.
All right, we had a little fun.
Let's
Splyce.
We
gotta have a little fun on that. Okay, now let's really look at round 5, which was that Splyce 5v3. And they like to push a lot. So
this is fundamental. This is the easiest thing to learn. You're in a 5-on-3, and that push from Arya is just so brutal. And now look at this secondary push, and this is just Fnatic. They just have to sit back. They're in a 3-and-5. There's no reason for Splyce to be the aggressors here. Make these 3 members of Fnatic just go into the bomb site, make them commit somewhere, and you give away 2 kills, even things back out, and then Fnatic, that's their strength mid round in a 3-on-3 situation. It's just. They can peel apart the defense. They can find their duels because the defense is spread thin. There's no way for the CT team to find an advantage, find a 2-on-1 to win. There's just no reason for Arya to push that inner bomb site. And the real issue with that is that was the hard reset. Yes. They had just won the previous round with only Davey surviving, so then they had to save 2 more. That was actually that one mistake actually cost them 3 rounds, and then just shattered their economy for the rest of the half.
Yeah, and you can't take on a team like Fnatic and not have the fundamentals solid.
Those are the kind of mistakes. Those are the kind of mistakes you can get away with in North America against North American competition that won't go that punished. But at this level, against not even Fnatic, against even Astralis, against Navi, against Luminosity, against NIP, these are teams that are going to punish that to the full effect.
Yep. And look at the round time there as well. How much time was remaining when they actually got those 2 kills? That's the whole thing about the new round time that Valve implemented as well. That you have more time to work with.
Yeah.
So
just pushing when you're 5-on-3, it doesn't really make any sense. Because, yeah, there they actually equalized this to 3-on-3. They still have like a minute left on the clock, maybe 50 seconds. That's a lot of time in Counter-Strike.
Yeah,
and you had a great example in the second half where when Fnatic was in the same situation, they were in a 5v3 and they were just holding their positions, right? Because they got the info where Splyce wants to go in the end, and it was a clean and easy round as it should be when you play it correctly.
Yeah, we got one more highlight, and this is round 10. Right before that plant, the JW plants a bomb, that crazy stuff with his op, I believe, in the B site. Is that this one? Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. This is an example of how, you know, in this level of play against players, you know, as good as JW, even the smallest chance, you give him just a small window and he can take advantage of it, right? And for a brief moment, we all thought, oh, is this actually happening, right? He was in a 1v5 at that point, and it shows how difficult it is to play against a team like Fnatic.
Yeah, it's so difficult, and yeah, Splyce, I mean, that's just the thing. Now, hopefully that Splyce can take whatever they might have learned, fix up some of those mistakes, talk things back over. They need to get their focus back in and not make those mistakes, because even FaZe is going to be able to punish things like that. So, I mean, this is a matchup now where they have a FaZe who's struggling, who's looking very individualistic. Should be relatively similar for them to playing against North American teams, is that individual play style, not the greatest teamwork. And they might be able to actually, you know, make something out of that. But here against Fnatic, we all kind of knew there was not going to be any chance.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. That's going to do it for this matchup. Obviously, Splyce is not out of it. They have to play FaZe, and then one of those teams will go home. And obviously, Lucky Liquid gets to take on Fnatic. Yay, that'll be a fun one, too. That's going to do it for us. Our next match, though, again, another North American team, CLG, this time taking the defending major champions on, Envious, albeit in a little bit of a slump, and albeit with a new player versus the last major. But again, odds are kind of on Envious on that one. We're going to rotate a few of you guys out, bring Richard and Thorin back, and we'll chat about it after this break.